Um, I think Tanmay, we can start.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I'm Radha Mehta. I'm the product manager at MProfit, and we have Tanmay Kenny with us. He's the customer success manager. This webinar we've specifically arranged to take you through our mid-year feature updates. It's going to be a completely product-focused webinar. In addition to the monthly demo series that we do, we wanted to do a special webinar to highlight the new features that we've added during our entire year in 2025 till now, so that you are also apprised of all these new features which will help you track your portfolios in MProfit in a much better and seamless fashion. So that's why we've done this webinar today. We've added a couple of new features like PMS tracking, uh, enhancements to the existing PMS tracking, wherein you can track your PMS investments at a scheme level. We've also added US equities. Tanmay, we can show the next slide.
Yeah,
We've also added US equities, wherein you'll be able to track your international US stock investments in MProfit. Certain XIRR related specific features we've added, like category wise XIRR and blended benchmarks as well. We'll be taking you through all of these features. And we've also added certain small other feature enhancements to our existing available features. And we'll be discussing all of those in detail today. Now to start with PMS tracking, right? We've all of you are aware of the PMS investments that you can track in MProfit at an underlying level and also at a cash flow level. Many of you all have asked us, and we've taken that feedback that you also wanted to see PMS at a scheme level, right? Wherein you can track PMS as at an asset class level, and hence we've done certain new enhancements to our existing PMS module, where you will be able to track your PMS investments at underlying and a cash flow level, that is a detailed level, but also at a scheme level and at an asset class level across your entire family's portfolio. Right. This helps you see your PMS at two levels. One, of course, the detailed version of XIRR, including your cash flows, underlying, see which are the investments which your PMS manager has done. But also at an overall family level, you can see PMS at a specific asset class, like we have different asset classes of stocks, mutual funds, private equity, AIF. Similarly, PMS at a scheme level can also be tracked. Now I'd request Tanmay to share the screen, and then we can show you what this feature means and how you can actually enable it in your portfolios.
sure. Thanks, Radha. So let me share the MProfit screen basically, and then I can show you um, the existing tracking of PMS in MProfit and also the new feature we have added. So everyone must be aware that you can, just like normal investment portfolio, you can create PMS portfolio as well in MProfit. Just to quickly show you that, you can click on Add Portfolio, enter the portfolio name, and mark the portfolio as a PMS portfolio. Okay, so this is the way to create a new portfolio, new PMS portfolio. And to manage all your investments, you can import two different statements. One is a transaction statement, which contains the underlying investment data. And second is a bank book statement, which contains the cash flow data. We already support various PMS files, service provider file formats for import directly. So of course, you don't need to manually enter any transaction data. This can be directly imported. Also, you can set it for auto forward, and on monthly basis, this data can be automatically forwarded. And just to show you, this is how the PMS portfolio looks like, where at the bottom of the screen, you can see total cash in, cash out, total fees, cash on hand, current valuation, and you can generate a performance snapshot as well. Here, you can actually track the underlying investments which are happening under a specific PMS scheme. Now, if you look at the group view, okay, by default, MProfit displays all the underlying data as it is into the portfolio. So, for example, if you have individual portfolio linked to the group as well as PMS portfolio linked to the group, we show by default everything considering the underlying data. But if you don't want to do that, if you want to just see PMS scheme as a line item, as an individual scheme and current value returns for that, we have added the option now where you can change the group view. So you can go to the preferences tab, and there is an option now called PMS within groups. So you can decide how you want to see PMS portfolios within groups. By default option is underlines, where every single asset, if it's a stock, if it's a mutual fund, will be displayed as it is under group. If you select line item, which is a new option now, and click on apply, this will show PMS portfolios as an individual line item, meaning that just like stocks, mutual funds, and other asset classes, you will see a new line item or new asset class called PMS. Inside that, you can actually see every single PMS portfolio as a line item basis. For example, Kotak PMS Bina or Ambit PMS Ajay Mehta, which I showed you, which is this portfolio, will be shown as a line item basis. This will help you to see a consolidated investments overall, including your PMS portfolio as a scheme, as an individual scheme. You can navigate this anytime. If you don't want to see line item wise, you can simply go to preferences again, click on underlines again, and you will not see a PMS as a line item. But we have received a lot of feedback regards to this particular feature, where most of our clients would like to see PMS just on a scheme level basis. Because anyway, the underlying investments, those cannot be controlled. Because in case of PMSs, all the underlying investments, the decisions made are basically by the PMS service providers, PMS managers. They basically take all the decisions to sell, buy all these asset classes. So for end client, for main family office HNI users, they want to see PMS as a line item basis. So this is one of the important feature we have added. So now you don't need to go into individual portfolio to look at the scheme wise returns. You can obviously do that by simply looking into a group portfolio, an individual group. Similarly, you can definitely create a custom groups also. So for example, I have created a family group which consists of all the family members' portfolios. But if you just want to see investments, including PMS portfolios for a particular entity, you can create a custom group as well. I can right click on a particular portfolio, select new group option. I can create a group only for Ajay Mehta's portfolio. So in this case, I'll link all Ajay Mehta's investments and similarly create a group. So this will show me uh, details of, sorry, the name is already available. So I'll make it Ajay Mehta group, and this will create a Ajay Mehta's group. Here I'll see all the investments only of Ajay Mehta and of course the PMSs as well. So PMS will be shown as a line item basis. So these are the features we have added here. Similarly, now this is about the classic view where under group you can see PMS as a line item. But in our analytics view also, we have added this feature where you can do this setting to see PMS as a line item. The option is available under portfolio section, and you can go to the preferences tab and you will see an option show PMS as a line items in groups. So you can use this option, you can enable this. And then if you look at the family group, now PMS will be considered as a line item information again. So if you go to the holdings tab, all the PMS schemes are by default added under the equity category. So if you want to see, you can click on equity category and you will see PMS as a line item here. Similarly, you can drill down this view. You can click on PMS category and you will see all the PMSs. So this is about the holding tab. So it shows the PMS asset allocation, how the PMS as a line item assets are allocated in a particular group. Similarly, you can go to the performance tab and get the returns also. Only for PMSs you have. So this is the return you are making on all the PMSs you have under a group. Similarly, if you want to see line item wise information, performance by asset. So this section basically shows the PMS line item wise return. So for every single PMS scheme you have in your family or in your group, you can see the returns. So these are the various options we have provided uh, to basically track the PMS portfolios in MProfit and also to see it on a high level, that is on a scheme level information. You obviously can get the detailed views also. For example, if you want to look at the Axis PMS or let's say Ambit PMS Ajay portfolio in a more detailed manner, you can obviously go to a specific portfolio. So from the left panel, I can select Ambit PMS Ajay as an individual portfolio, and then I can get the underlying holding details as well. By category, by asset, I can Also look at the performance view, which will show a performance of a particular PMS portfolio in a detailed way. So you can see all the cash flow data, cash in, cash out, current investment value, cash on hand, other details as you see, absolute gain, income payout, total fees, where you can see the distribution of the total fees as well. So these features are definitely there, but overall feature is added basically on a group level to understand the PMS as a line item. So you don't need to look at the individual investments if you look at the overall group level view. Radha, you want to add anything for this point?
Yes. So, just in addition to what we discussed right now, I'd like to highlight that the earlier option where we didn't, when you could track the PMS, all your PMS underlyings were shown under stocks and ETFs, even at a family group level, because they were getting combined as stocks and ETFs. But now, because we've added this feature, you have the option of seeing PMS as a completely different line item, different asset class, and you can track different schemes, right? You can create your own linked PMS options, right? For every portfolio, PMS portfolio that you can create your own PMS scheme, which you are invested in, and see at a scheme level how these PMSs are looking like. And the in analytics, where Tanmay showed performance by assets, you can actually then compare each scheme that you're invested in, how each scheme has performed, right? So if you go to equity PMS and you see performance by assets, all the 5, 10 different schemes in which you're invested in, you can actually compare, okay, Ambit PMS has given X percentage of XIRR, Axis PMS has given Y percentage of XIRR. So this gives you a quick snapshot level view of all the different PMS schemes in which you're invested in at a consolidated level, how these schemes have performed. And of course, if you still prefer to go back to the original way of tracking it as underlyings along with all the other asset classes, that option will always be available to you, right? Okay.
Yeah, and this particular view, performance by asset, if you look at the PMS subcategory view, this will really help you to compare different PMSS schemes which each other. So you can actually see that which is the PMS scheme, which PMS scheme is actually making the highest return. You can sort the view as well. You can simply click on XIRR column head to basically sort the view, not only by XIRR but by total investment or total gain, which is the absolute gain. If you want to understand which is the PMS scheme which is making a higher absolute gain, so you can click on this total gain column as well to sort the views. So in a single view, you can compare different PMS schemes with each other basically. So this will definitely help you.
Right. Now, hope this feature will help a lot of you. And if you want to understand this better, you can always reach out to us, and we'll somebody from our team will definitely guide you on each technical steps of how this can be achieved. Now, going to the next feature that we've launched is the US equities, right? A lot of you have requested us over a time that you wanted to track your global portfolio, US stocks and ETFs in which you're invested in. And we have now gone live with international portfolio. Currently, this is our first phase wherein we have launched US equities and ETFs, wherein you have the option of tracking all your listed stocks and ETFs in US market in dollar terms. Earlier, people used to face an issue with uploading data for their US portfolio, tracking it with their existing INR portfolio. But now we have made this live, and this is available in all the family office plans. You will be able to see uh, and track your US portfolio in MProfit. Uh, Currently, you have two asset class options. One is the listed stocks and ETFs. We are providing current end of day pricing as well. And the second is private equity for all the other asset classes, wherein it could be like an unlisted stock or any other kind of investments that you have. Currently, you can all add that under private equity. Everything is dollar denominated. So you will be able to see your US dollar denominated portfolio at a consolidated level across different assets like stocks, ETFs, and any unlisted assets, or even any other kind of investment that you have in US, but there is no specific asset class. You can still add it under private equity. Tanmay, maybe we can just show them how to create the
Yeah. Now, just to create the international portfolio. So, for example, you have already created your investment portfolio, which is an INR portfolio. So, from any group or a portfolio, you can go to this plus sign and you will get an option to add a new international portfolio. So if you click on add international portfolio, this will give you the screen. You can enter the name, portfolio short name, portfolio full name, and you can select the currency as USD. Once you do that, you will get a new section. So on the left hand side, if you look at, there is a INR section and also now international section. In my case, I have already created the portfolio. That is the reason I'm already seeing this. But once you create it, you will get a new section. Under this, you can obviously add more portfolios if needed. As Radha mentioned, we initially launched the first phase. With first phase launch, we have added US stocks and ETFs for the management. And you can directly upload the transaction statements also. Just like Indian brokers, we have also supported a lot of US brokers also, such as Charles Schwab, Fidelity Investments, InMoney, Crystal Advisors, Vested Finance, Stockle Securities, Interactive Brokers, First Global. There are multiple brokers we have started supporting it. Currently, we support almost 12 to 15 different international brokers where you can directly get their transaction statements and upload it into MProfit. So you don't need to manually enter the transactions even for US stocks and ETFs. And as Radha also mentioned, we support the current prices. So we support EOD prices for US stocks and ETFs. So as you see on the screen, once you add a stock investment, system will automatically fetch the price. And of course, it's in USD. And depending on that, you will see today's gain, unrealized gain, current valuation as well. Also, we support certain reports, as you see. Uh, we have enabled portfolio summary report, annualized return XIRR report. So for your US stocks and ETFs, you can definitely see the returns you are making. Also, we have enabled profit and loss summary and detailed report as well. So basic profit and loss summary and detail, you can definitely get it from MProfit for US stocks and ETFs. Similarly, there are transaction reports available. If you just want to get all your transactions in a plain Excel or CSV format, those are available. It similarly has closing balances and holding period report, which is similar to the INR portfolio reports. And then there is an income report. You can add all the corporate actions also for your US stocks. So you can simply right click on it, go to other transaction, and you will see all the different corporate actions such as split, spin off, merger, or if you have any off market transaction, you can add it. Similarly, income details as well. Dividend income on certain US stock, you can definitely add. So all these options are available. So you guys can actually start adding all the US stocks if you are investing in US stocks and ETFs. And as I mentioned, you don't need to manually enter the transactions. We support international broker statements for direct import. In case if any broker is not supported currently, you can send us a sample statement and we have a dedicated team which can develop a new template for you. And then you can start uploading all the transaction details.
Correct.
Um,
Yes. So,
yeah, and just on the PA side, as Radha also mentioned, any other assets such as if it's not US stocks and ETFs, any other assets such as traded bonds or any unlisted share, you can definitely add it under private equity section. Here we have actually made it open where you can create the asset and you can add the investment, buy, sell, income transactions. So technically you can add anything under private equity. All other things like stocks and ETFs which are listed on NASDAQ, those can be definitely added under stocks and ETFs asset class. And the benefit here is we provide the price feeds for the same. So current valuation will be automatically updated. You will see the returns as well on a regular basis.
correct. And this is just our first phase, right? Where we've added US stocks. We plan to in future add other markets as well. But currently, because many of y'all specifically had requested for the US stock markets, we've made it live. And this is going to be very beneficial for you guys to track your international portfolio and also see your Indian portfolio all in the same software. So you don't have to use two different ways of tracking these portfolios, right? And like Tanmay mentioned, we are already supporting about 8 to 10 different brokers and more. But if there is any template that you have which you can't find in our existing import list, please do share that with us. And our team will definitely look into it and create that template if all the transaction level details are provided there. Uh, Currently, like we said, we have stocks and ETFs category along with private equity. So please start adding all your US stock investments data, and the live pricing for the listed stocks will also be provided at the end of the day. Now, next is in our analytics tab. For our XIRR, we've added two major updates. Till now, XIRR tracking was happening at a specific index level for each portfolio or each asset class. You could see your XIRR. But now we've also added certain MProfit default categories like equity, debt, real estate, etc., which Tanmay will take you through. For all of these categories, you will be able to check your XIRR for each category. Along with that, you can also create your blended benchmarks, which means by giving different weightages to different indexes. This kind of gives you an added edge in tracking your portfolio at a much granular and deeper level, and not just seeing it at an overall level. We understand that as a family office, your portfolio is going to be mix of several different assets of equity, debt, AIF, PMS, etc. And tracking each of these assets to a common index will not really make sense, right? So it is always better to see your XIRR at different category levels, at different asset class levels. And of course, for each specific portfolio or each specific category, a single benchmark may also not be possible, right? For example, if you have an equity category, it could be a mix of mid, large, and small, right? Different assets you may have in your stocks. It does not make sense to directly uh, compare it to a single index. So we have given the option of creating your own blended benchmarks so that you can actually apples to apples compare depending on how your portfolio asset allocation is looking like to the index, which gives you a more detailed level of insight into your actual performance compared to a benchmark. First, let's understand what is the category level benchmark that we have. Tanmay, over to you.
Yeah. So just want to add before I show you the category wise breakdown, just want to inform that MProfit provide multiple levels XIRR. Okay, so you can select family group, you can select individual portfolio and see the returns. Similarly, you can select a specific asset class such as stocks and ETFs or only mutual funds to see. And similarly, you can further drill down. You can select a particular mutual fund scheme as well to see the returns. So these options were already available. But what we have done, we have also created a categories now which you can see on the left hand side: equity, real estate, debt, gold plus, retirement, cash, and so on. Now you can see the category wise returns as well. So if I select equity category, I can of course see the holding details. For example, equity category can have stocks and equity ETFs, private equity funds. So I can see the holdings also. Similarly, I can also see the performance. So for every single category, whether it's a equity, debt, gold plus, you can see the holding details as well as the returns. Also, as I mentioned, not only equity, but if I select the debt category and go to the holdings, debt category covers fixed deposit, NCDs, post office schemes, listed bonds, debt funds, debt mutual funds, basically. Similarly, if I select gold plus category, it will cover a physical gold, sovereign gold bonds, gold and silver ETFs. If I select the retirement category, it will cover solution oriented funds, certain insurance schemes. So you can actually see category wise holdings as well as category wise returns also. For example, I can select equity category, go to performance tab, and I can see how much return I'm making just on a equity category investments. Similarly, I can of course see the subcategory wise view also. So as I mentioned, equity category can have stocks and ETFs, equity mutual funds, private equity. So you can see the subcategory wise returns as well. Also, you can further drill down in individual subcategory as well. I can click on equity funds and get the view. Okay, so these are the options we have added to see the returns on category as well as subcategory level. You can see it for any category you want, category as well as subcategory level. Now, we have this feature which you must be already aware, that you can compare your portfolio returns or category returns with a particular market index. So on the right hand side, there is a view called uh, XIRR versus index CAGR, where you can select the individual index and you can get the comparison. We have added this XIRR comparison as well, which shows um, apple to apple comparison. And here also you can select an individual index. So by default, it will have either of the index selected, maybe TRI Nifty 50 or TRI 500. But now we have also added enhancement to this particular section where you can create a blend. For example, I'm looking at equity category return. Now, equity category may be consisting of certain small cap, certain large cap, mid cap investments. I can create a blend of multiple different indices now. So I can go to change benchmark. I can select blends and use this option, create new blend, where I can select multiple different index. So I can select, let's say, TRI Nifty Mid Cap 150. I can, which is a mid cap related index. Similarly, I can select TRI Nifty Small Cap 250, which is small cap related index. I can select multiple different indices. We currently support 80 plus different market indices. So I can obviously select multiple, click on this select option, and I can set the allocation. So I can, let's say, allocate 60% or 70% of the Nifty mid cap and 30% of the small cap. This is depending on the investments you have in your portfolio. And then I can save this blend to basically get the returns. Now, if I look at the portfolio returns and actually a blended benchmark return, this will give me much more better clarity. So this feature is available. Uh, Creating blends of different benchmarks indices is available not only on a category level, but it is also available on multiple different levels: portfolio level, family group level, category level. For example, I can have a separate blend for my equity category, and I can go to debt category, and I can have a different blend for my debt category as well. So similarly, I can go to debt category, click on change benchmark. I can create a blend only for my debt category. Similarly, for gold plus category. So you can have different blends created for multiple different categories, investments you have. So this will definitely give you a more detailed insight, XIRR comparison insight to make a better decisions. Basically, you can get a complete understanding how your portfolio or how a particular category investment is performing compared to a specific index or a blended benchmark.
Correct. Now, if you even see the list of categories that we have, like for example, real estate, that will consist of your properties, any REITs and InvITs that you have, right? So all we have created certain defaults so that when you want to see a equity return, it is purely an equity return. Your debt return is purely a debt return, right? Real estate, retirement funds. So you can see for each category how the performance is looking like. And if you go to the performance tab, right, all the tabs and charts that we have for a normal portfolio will still be available at each category level. And like Tanmay is now showing, you can see performance by subcategory also. How much did actually REITs provide? XIRR, how much did property provide? And all of this is available for all prior periods as well, right? Current selected period is all to date, but of course, the entire analytics tab is customizable for any specific time period that you want, financial year, calendar year, month, custom periods, right? If you want to see just for the last 6 months, you can custom select those dates. So with these new feature enhancements, we have made it possible for you to track each category return separately, so that it gives you a more deep dived view of your existing portfolio and not just see it at a family level or at different asset classes, right? So private equity, equity mutual funds, your listed stocks, your PMS, all comes under equity. So you can then track your equity portfolio and compare it with a specific index, right? And in addition, in order to actually make it more granular level, more apples to apples comparison, you can create your own blends, right? We have over 80 plus indices, a mix of both TRI and non-TRI indices, and a certain debt indices also, right? So you can custom create your own blends. You can add up to 5 indices in a single blend, give different weightages to each index. Let's say your large cap is your asset allocation in a portfolio for large is 80% and small and mid is 10 and 10. You can actually create a specific customized blended benchmark which is completely as per your asset allocation, right? It is not a market derived benchmark. This blended option actually gives you a more clear view of how your portfolio is performing compared to how that blended benchmark is performing, right? This is not only available at a category level. The blended benchmark feature is also available at an overall family group level, across all asset classes, and of course at individual portfolio level also, right? So for example, if you just select, let's say, Ajay Mehta's portfolio, it's possible that the asset allocation there could be a mix of equity, debt, right? So you can actually then select a blended benchmark which has both equity and debt component. You can select a TRI Nifty 50 and a Crystal Composite Bond Index. Depending on your own portfolio mix for each individual portfolio, you can have different blends created, right? So this blended benchmark again is customizable for each category, for each portfolio, right? So there is no standard or default categorization. You can actually create your own blends for each portfolio, for each category. This gives you a more uh, detailed level view of your performance and gives a more meaningful approach to the XIRR comparison chart. Tanmay, anything we want to add on these two features?
No, I guess we have covered. Just want to add, like, we have XIRR, as Radha also mentioned. We have the XIRR returns available, benchmark comparison available on multiple different levels. Just to inform you again, it's on a group level, it's on a portfolio level, it's on a asset class level, like individual asset class, it's on a category level, and also on a particular investment level. You can get returns, get benchmark comparison for a single investment also. For example, a particular stock investment or particular mutual fund investment. And obviously, you can create the blends there as well.
Today we've covered the four main different feature updates that we have done. The PMS line item enhancements that we have done. This is available at all HNI and family office plans where you're able to track all your PMS investments. Now you have the option of tracking it at an asset class and scheme level. We've also added the international portfolios, like we saw. You can track your US equities, stocks, private equity, any kind of other US based investments that you have. All this entire international portfolio is US dollar denominated. So any US dollar denominated asset that you want to track, you can add it under private equity for now, but definitely the listed stocks option is always there. We are providing you end of day prices as well, right? And the two main XIRR related features that we launched are, you can see your XIRR at different categories. MProfit has created certain default categories. If you go to the holdings tab, it will show you different categories, right? Equity, debt, gold plus, retirement, real estate, etc., right? And you can compare your XIRR for each category separately. And in addition, the XRR comparison chart is now more enhanced with the option of creating your own blends. Now, these blends can be created at individual category level, different blends for equity category, different blends for debt category, so on. And for each individual portfolio, individual groups that you've created, family group, for each of these different levels, you can create your own blends. And we have a saving feature, that is, every time you open that specific portfolio, it will save the last selected blended benchmark that you have, right? So you don't have to do it every time. So all of these different options are there. This blended benchmark feature has been, asked by many of you because you want to track your portfolio depending on your own unique asset allocation, and hence we've made this live. So we hope that this feature really helps all of you and helps you better track your portfolio across your family members and your asset categories as well. In addition to these, there are certain small enhancements that we've done, but also equally important to help you track your portfolio better. Since we are at the analytics tab, let's quickly cover the equity exposure feature that we have. We always had the equity exposure feature, which is basically an overlap analysis of how much exposure you have to a particular script through your stocks and indirectly through your mutual funds PMS. But now we have added certain enhancements to this feature. So your equity exposure, let's say, for example, the chart that you're seeing here, your HDFC Bank, right? The exposure is not only through your direct broker-led stock investments, but indirectly through all the different mutual funds that you have purchased and also all the PMS schemes in which are invested in, right? In addition to that, we've added sector-wise exposure, market cap-wise, and certain other levels also, which Tanmay will now show you.
Yeah. So earlier, the equity exposure feature only had a exposure by stock. So as Radha mentioned, you can find out if you have certain stock investment through direct stock or mutual fund underlying or PMS portfolio or ETF. So you can actually drill down every single stock as well. So you can click on HDFC Bank to understand the true equity exposure. For example, the overall stock value is 3.88 CR. Actually, it's 3.93 CR. Out of that, 3.88 CR is available under direct stocks and certain PMS stocks. Similarly, there are almost 4.76 lakhs of investment has happened through mutual funds. So you can see a mutual fund view as well, and of course the allocation for that. Now you can get a drill down view also. So if you have HDFC Bank as a part of the direct stocks, you can see which direct stocks are currently holding HDFC Bank and what is the exposure for that. Similarly, there are certain PMS portfolio scheme investments where again the investment is in HDFC Bank. So you can see the drill down view as well. Similarly, for mutual fund as well, you can drill down every single mutual fund. Now, this option was available just on a stock level, but we have also added this on a asset, the sector wise as well as market cap wise level. So if I go one step back, you will see view by sector, view by stock. Now there are two more options added, view by sector, where you can see every sector exposure as well. You can drill down every individual sector to see which stocks you have. And again, if you click on the HDFC Bank, it will show the similar view. Similarly, now there is a view by market cap as well. So you will see large cap, small cap, mid cap, other market cap wise exposure. You can again drill down every single market cap as well. Similarly, if I go to a individual portfolio, individual stock, let's say HDFC Bank, I can get the allocation by asset type and also by asset to understand. As you see, it has now changed to consolidated exposure only to HDFC Bank. So you can see direct stock exposure, PMS stock exposure, and then mutual fund wise exposure as well. This is on an asset level. Similarly, on a portfolio level as well. If I select portfolio, view by portfolio, it will show me exposure only for portfolio level. That is Ajay Mehta, PMS, different portfolios I have in my group. Okay. Similarly, from here also you can further drill down. You can click on direct PMS and holdings to go inside. So these are the different views, or I would say more enhancements we have added on the equity exposure part. Yeah, Radha, you want to add anything on this?
Yeah. So, just to reiterate that equity exposure feature was always available, but with these enhancements, you can actually see the overall sector-wise exposure through your direct stock investments and indirect investments through your mutual funds and PMSs, right? And the market cap. So this gives you a much more perspective into your stock exposures across the different asset classes. Sometimes we miss to see an exposure to a particular script because we've not directly invested in, but because we've invested it through your PMSs and mutual funds, your exposure can increase, right? That's why it makes sense to see this overlap analysis. And like Tanmay showed you, if you select a specific script, it will also show you the exposure you have to that script, along with whether that exposure is through mutual funds, whether it is through your direct stock investments or through your PMS investments. And it will give you a breakdown also, which mutual funds, which PMS portfolios have exposure to this scheme, this script, right? So this gives you a detailed level of overlap analysis to actually make any decisions that you want to take regards to your asset allocation. If you think you're over or under exposed to any specific script and you want to change that asset allocation, you can quickly come here, see this view, and draw your own analysis as to how your exposure to different stocks is looking, stock sectors and market cap is looking like. Okay. Now, we have done certain improved navigations, which we briefly covered when explaining the category and asset class. But we've added on the left navigation tab, which is the black tab that you see. We've added these quick tools to actually select any specific category, asset class, select any specific portfolio by the drop down list, so that you don't have to go into multiple different layers or levels to select a specific asset class. You can just quickly select it from this tab, like shown here. Yeah. Yes, Tanmay, you want to add anything on this point, just to quickly show?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one more thing, like you can obviously navigate between different groups and different portfolios from here. So this drop down will show the list of all the portfolios and groups you have under one family. If you want to change the family, you can simply click on this small icon beside the family name to basically navigate between different families in case you are maintaining having multiple families. So you have made it very easy to navigate between different families, groups, different categories, different asset classes. You don't need to, uh, there are no multiple different layers to do that. Simply from the left panel, you can simply click on a specific category to see the holdings and the returns. Similarly, click on specific asset class like stocks and ETFs to see the holdings and performance, to see the returns and so on.
Yes. Now, going back to the classic view, all of y'all are well aware of the auto corporate action feature that we have, wherein you can automate the option, the process of applying corporate actions, your stocks, stock splits, bonus, merger, demerger, and dividend. Right. In addition to that, now we have also launched the TDS on dividend option, right? Which basically means that we will automatically calculate the TDS on dividend for you, wherein the current threshold limits for this financial year for a resident individual, which is 10,000 rupees threshold at a 10% TDS rate. This is automatically done by us, but you have the options of customizing this as well. This gives you an option to actually, when you see the income report, it will give you your dividend into gross, TDS and net. As Tanmay is showing, you have the option, you can select edit portfolio for any of the portfolios that you have. If you select is resident individual TDS on dividends, yes, which means it will automatically apply the existing rates as per a resident individual, which is like I said, 10,000 rupees is the threshold limit with a 10% TDS rate. But if you're adding any NRI portfolio or any private limited company data or any partnership firm, HUF, or any other entity for which the existing rates do not apply, there are different rates for these kind of legal entities. You can actually add your own TDS percentage, your own threshold limit, and the system will calculate for that specific portfolio as per the inputs provided by you, right? So now the entire process of you just seeing dividend at a gross level in MProfit, then looking at your 26 AS form or any other tax related form to see how much TDS was deducted, becomes time consuming. So in order to minimize your efforts at the year end to actually see how much dividend is there, and along with that how much TDS was deducted on that dividend, we've made this feature live. It's a normal process, you don't have to do anything additional. You just have to go to actions, click on auto corporate actions, and in the auto corporate actions, when you click, you will be able to see that we are adding different corporate actions like split, dividend, bonus, merger, demerger. But now TDS on dividends will also be auto calculated by default. So the minute you apply corporate actions, if at all there is any dividend, as per the threshold limit and the TDS rate, we will automatically apply this to all your stocks wherever dividend has been received by you. And the customization option is also available at each specific portfolio level.
Yeah, and then we do provide the income report in MProfit. So you can actually see the gross amount for any dividend you have earned, TDS and net amount breakup for every single stock or a mutual fund. So in a single report, you can see all the income details, but if you just want to see dividends, you can customize the report to see dividends on stocks and mutual funds with gross amount, TDS and net.
Correct.
I just
Um,
want to add one more enhancement we have done, which is on the private equity side. The asset was, of course, there. Buy, sell, income transaction support was, of course, there. But we are getting a lot of feedback saying the corporate action details cannot be added on the private equity asset. Of course, for stocks and ETFs, it's completely automated. Bonus, split, merger, demerger, dividends can be anyway added. For private equity, also now we have added options to add the um, corporate action. So you will be able to add all kinds of corporate actions from income, bonus, split, merger, demerger as well. for the private equity asset class now. So this will be definitely is a new feature we have added, and it will help you to track not only income on your unlisted investments, but now you will be able to track if there is split happens or merger happens, or if there is a demerger, you can definitely add that for even unlisted shares.
Correct, correct. So, we always, like Tanmay said, we always had this private equity option, but with these additions to add your corporate actions, it actually helps you track private equity in more detailed levels. And like you can see, the merger option into a listed stock is also provided. So, if at all your current unlisted investment, tomorrow there's an IPO and gets listed, you have the option of merging it into the listed entity as well. So, all of these small enhancements actually help to see your portfolio at an overall better level to give you more clarity into all your investments. Lastly, before we jump into the Q&A session, I also wanted to highlight that as per last year's budget of 2024, we have made the changes live for the buyback as well. The rule of buyback from 1st October 2024 was that if at all any company does any buyback transaction, that buyback has to be treated as a dividend and to be shown in your income. So we've made that option live. Soon, in a couple of weeks or next month, we will be doing a session for all the capital gain changes, which will help you with your tax filing season. We will definitely cover in more detail as to how the buyback can be seen in our different reports. But just to give you a quick update on that, that feature has also been made live, wherein all the buyback transactions post 1st October 24, where the new rule applies, has been made live in MProfit, and you will be able to see all the effects of buyback pre and post 1st of October as well. This webinar was specifically for the new features that we've added. So any kind of support queries that you have or any other kind of information that you require, please do send us an email at support@mprofit.in, and we will have a dedicated person reach out to you and help you solve your queries at the very best. Okay, thank you so much for joining the session on a Saturday afternoon. Thank you for your continued support to MProfit, and we help to service you better. And please do reach out in case of any other queries.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
everyone for
much.
joining. Thank you, Radha.
Thank you. Thank you.